We've talked a lot about creeping authoritarianism on this show as our government continues to encroach on personal liberties and endanger the idea of a government for the people, by the people. It's a very serious matter, but the road from democracy to authoritarianism, the posturing, the demeanor, the threats made by those who wish to rule with an iron fist is, among other things, often quite tacky. Think about Russian President Vladimir Putin or Iraq's late President Saddam Hussein. And the first thing you might think about is all the gold decorations and the oversized rooms and the oversized tables at their palaces and their government buildings. Might sound like someone else you know. We'll get to that in a second. Many strong men love to display giant photos of themselves wherever they can. If you ever go to Tiananmen Square in Beijing, you'll be greeted with a portrait of Mao. Mao founded the People's Republic of China. He served as chairman of the Chinese Communist Party for more than 30 years. His portrait is about 19.5 feet tall. Doesn't look that big there, but it's 19.5 feet tall, 15 feet wide. It weighs 3,000 pounds. It's been hanging over the gate leading into the Forbidden City since 1949. Well, actually, I'm lying about that. That particular portrait you're seeing on your screen has not been hanging there since 1949. It actually gets replaced every year ahead of October 1st, which is a holiday in China called National Day. They have a specially chosen artist who's tasked with painting his portrait year after year after year. Been dead for a long time. If you travel farther to the east, you'll find something similar in North Korea. In that country's capital, Pyongyang, there's an area called Kim Il-sung Square, where you'll find large portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, the great leader and the dear leader, respectively, overlooking the plaza at all times as people go about their daily lives. But don't feel too bad for North Korea's current leader, Kim Jong-un. There's plenty of iconography of him, and they roll it out for special occasions. When Russian President Vladimir Putin visited the country last year, North Koreans gave him a warm welcome by plastering his photo everywhere. They even temporarily put up a humongous portrait of Putin next to a humongous portrait of Kim Jong-un during the welcome ceremony. Neither China nor North Korea invented this idea. They've taken their cues from Joseph Stalin, the former brutal ruler of the Soviet Union, who really liked to have his portraits displayed in public and lofted by his supporters during parades. That practice continues in many other countries where strong men and some women rule today. You see it in places like Egypt, where the face of the president, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, is inescapable. His mug is on billboards and banners plastered on buildings, hanging alongside the road. It's especially true ahead of an election, and it's no wonder he's been able to easily win 3 terms in office, not to mention the fact that Egypt doesn't exactly have free and fair elections in the first place. In Iran, you'll find an abundance of murals, posters, and portraits of its current supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. That's him with the glasses. He's often depicted with the country's late leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Their images are displayed literally everywhere, at mosques, in the malls, on the sides of skyscrapers. And now I guess something like that's happening in the United States, too. Last week, this went up in Washington, D.C., a giant banner with Donald Trump's official portrait hanging in front of the headquarters of the Department of Agriculture, along with a similar banner featuring Abraham Lincoln. Now, Lincoln founded the USDA 163 years ago last Thursday, so you can actually make sense of why they might have put up a picture of Lincoln. But as for Trump, it's not really clear why you need to hang a banner with his face on the USDA, especially if you consider how his tariffs and other policies are actually negatively affecting farmers and the entire U.S. agricultural industry. But regardless, the president's picture on a federal building is far from the norm in America. You didn't see Presidents Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton, or Bush the Elder, or any other American president put up their images for public display like this. And by the way, this is just another one of the many norms that Donald Trump has been breaking since his return to the White House. Consider the military parade that he's planning for this summer. It's evidently to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army on June 14th, the Army in which Donald Trump never served. But coincidentally, that date is also conveniently Donald Trump's 79th birthday. Current estimates for the parade put the cost at around $45 million of your taxpayer dollars. So much for cutting government waste. And then there's also all the fawning over Trump that's become a routine thing at the cabinet meetings.
Your first 100 days has far exceeded that of any other presidency in this country, ever, ever. Never seen anything like it. Thank you.
Mr. President, You are 100% correct. The border is 99.99% safe, under control. You have completely reversed the entire situation.
That's all credit to you, Mr. President. Thank you for the honor to be able to serve alongside you, for you, and alongside all these excellent people.
You can't make this stuff up. And then there's the letter from his doctor about his most recent physical. His doctor, I don't know if any of you have doctors, but I never had anything like this from my doctor, and I'm a pretty healthy guy. His doctor concluded that President Trump is in excellent health. Great, fantastic. I wish him good health. But the letter included some over-the-top language. Quote, President Trump's days include participation in multiple meetings, public appearances, press availability, and frequent victories in golf events. President Trump exhibits excellent cognitive and physical health and is fully fit to execute the duties of the commander-in-chief and head of state. I have a lot of meetings. And in fact, I do a lot of public media appearances. My doctor never talks about that. The military parades, the idolization of the leader, the sycophantic comments, these are the kinds of things we have witnessed from afar in places like North Korea. But we have to acknowledge that it's starting to happen here. It may not matter to you, but all of these changes can seem small and petty. But it's the erosion of democratic norms. It's softening people up for potentially more immoral and authoritarian behavior, because if he can dress up the White House like a palace for a king, then why can't he accept a $400 million plane from a foreign government? If he can put up a giant poster of himself, then why not put up more until Trump becomes omnipresent, until you're reminded everywhere you go that old Big Donald is watching you? In a democracy, we don't worship kings or rulers or princes or presidents. They are not a democracy's most important citizen. You are. We have a constitution that sets out that this government belongs to you, the people. And while we still have that democracy, we have a president who's starting to treat this country like it's his for the taking.